Hi everybody, welcome to another episode of Football with Trudy. I'm your host, Trudy. I'm here with Aminu. Happy New Year, Aminu. I feel like I haven't seen you in years. Kachi and Edosa are here as well, and today we're talking about the Champions League. We're also going to talk a little bit about Europa because Man U is playing Barcelona. That's basically a Champions League level game. And Manchester City versus Arsenal going on as well. Please remember to like, subscribe, and support the channel, YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter. All right, let's go. I mean, you're going to take the reins here since you haven't been here for such a long time. I feel like there's a lot of fines and confusions and distractions in all the teams playing in the Champions League. Do you think we're going to have a new winner? Let's start with PSG Bayern. We have Bayern going on with their own hierarchy, turbulence, so to speak, dealing with Neuer. They have a new keeper. They haven't been winning much. And PSG is claiming that Mbappe is injured, but Bayern doesn't believe them. What do you think about that?
I think that was actually funny. Like, why are they worried about, who's fit and who's not fit?
You have to plan, no?
Just go out assuming like Mbappe is going to be on the pitch and you'll be fine. Back to the first question, if we will have a new winner this year, we possibly could if PSG triumphs over Bayern. So that was my pick at the start of the season, and I'm sticking to it. Messi's about to make history, and after winning the World Cup, I just feel like this is another trophy that he's going to pick up before he decides to go to Saudi Arabia and join Ronaldo.
I also forgot to mention Happy Valentine's Day because people look forward to Valentine's Day for different reasons. We look forward to it for Champions League. Others look forward to it because that's the first day of the Champions League is for February 14th. So happy Valentine's Day in case whenever you're listening to this. I feel like PSG Bayern is a tough one to call. I really can't tell who's going to win. They have been both quite turbulent, but they can turn it on their day. Kachi, what do you think? Who's going to win this one?
I mean, my pick beginning of the season was Bayern, so I'm sticking with Bayern. I also think that Mane, I don't think Mane has come back. I think they're going to unleash Mane in that game against PSG. I think a lot of PSG guys played a lot of football during the World Cup, so I'm sticking with my pick. I expect Bayern to win at home, and Cancelo is there wanting to prove a point as well. So I expect, and Cancelo, if you notice, like even his first game, he was crossing the ball for Choupo-Moting. So
he assisted on his first game. He had an assist.
So I'm expecting Bayern. To make. I won't say quick work of PSG, but I'm expecting Bayern to win. I'll say maybe 3-1. PSG to score one. But
the first leg is in France.
It's in PSG.
Yeah, France. First leg is in France.
3-1.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And another reason why I'm also picking Bayern to win is even though the game is in France, PSG has Marseille in the French Cup, like 7 days before the Champions League game, and they also have Monaco in the league as well. So those are two games where it's like you can't really afford to play your B team like that, really. You still have to go for it on off. You can, but then you still have to go for it on all fronts in the sense that. But I also think that Bayern will come into Paris prepared and they'll make quick work of PSG, in my opinion.
I didn't even notice this. It's Kachi versus Prophet Amino up in here. Who do you think? Who's pick? One of them is going out in a round of 16 already.
To choose the true religion. I don't know. Like I can't claim to have watched enough PSG or Bayern this year. So just going off what I know the teams, it seems like Bayern hasn't really been on form. And I feel like not having Neuer is a blow because Neuer pulls off ridiculous saves every time to save Bayern. So PSG might just manage over 2 legs to win it because Messi will be feeling himself, especially with the whole World Cup thing. He might start to feel like, everything is aligning again for him to win everything. So, yeah, I think PSG might win over 2 legs.
So we have 2 PSG and 1 Bayern. I'm going to just make it even. And And just further this to our other colleagues who couldn't make it to break up the tie, I think Bayern is going to take this one. But we'll see how it goes. Let's move on to the other game, Milan versus Spurs. Yet another team who is honestly, we don't know what happened. Milan has kind of dropped off a cliff regarding their form. They've been losing left, right, and center. They dropped from second to, I think I want to say fourth. No, they're not fourth. I think they're fifth or sixth now. Mourinho is third, by the way. Shout out to the king over there. But he was not a fraud. And Spurs, I read somewhere, I heard that this Conte's assistant coach, I forget his name, but the guy who was managing them during City's game, every time he has taken over for Conte, Spurs has never lost a game. This is going back to their days in their days together in Inter Milan. Every time he takes over a game, not only do they not lose, they don't draw. They win every game he manages. So depending on how long Conte is out for, this might be another miraculous one for Spurs. I'm going to start with Amino again, since he shaking his head. What do you think is going to go down in this game?
You can never trust Spurs in anything in this life. It was a complete shock that they actually beat City over the weekend. I was 100% waiting for them to get battered in the second half.
Well, City hasn't won there since that stadium was built. Not only have they not won there, they haven't scored a goal in that stadium.
Fair enough. I didn't know that stat until the commentator said it, right? So just watching the game, I was like, KDB will come on and they'll just
not KDB would start, and then we were like, what's happening here?
So the Tinkerman, he did himself in again. But in terms of Spurs and Milan had a bad loss, I guess, in the Milan derby over the weekend.
They've been having
so
a lot of losses.
To bounce back.
A lot of losses.
And I think Conte will be back for that tie, if I'm not mistaken. So he'll
it's next week.
Himself.
It's on the 14th.
Yeah, so he'll be back, wouldn't he?
I don't know how long he's out for. Who's the doctor here? How long, Goldbladder, how long does it take to recover from
He might be in the stadium because he's back in Italy anyways, and the first game is in Milan, so that might be enough to cancel out his assistant manager's chance.
Yeah, so Conte will be back to sabotage himself, and, even if Spurs get something out of that game, I don't see them sealing the deal overall. So I'm still going to go with Milan to go through in that tie.
Kachi, Milan has a lot of injuries and they've been on bad form for a long time. Do you believe Aminu, or do you support Aminu's claim that they can actually overcome Spurs?
I don't think they can. I mean, the Milan that I've been watching, first of all, they lost 3-0 to Inter Milan in the Coppa Italia final, or the Supercoppa Italia final, and then they got destroyed by Sassuolo 5-2, and they lost recently to Inter as well. No, these guys I honestly think this is the game that if Conte plays his usual Conte ball and his defenders hold out, I could see Harry Kane and Son having a very, very good night. Like
they also lost 4-0 to Lazio. Like they've been losing.
I could see them really, really punishing this Milan team, like literally. But then again, I could also see Tottenham going up 2 or 3 goals and conceding as well. But the thing is, the reason why I'm optimistic of Tottenham winning is because Rafael Leao has not really been on form post-World Cup, and they have a lot of injuries, Milan. So I think Spurs, if they play their cards right and take their chances, I could see them cleaning up this tie by first leg. But I say comfortable Spurs win 2 or 3-0.
Adosa.
I plead the fifth.
You don't want to stress. Don't be scared.
Wow.
Say it with your chest, boy.
Spurs.
No,
2 games in a row.
Milan hasn't won a game since the 4th of Jan. They haven't won a game.
I have never supported Spurs in my life. I'm always anti whatever team they're playing. So it's a weird place to sit. Especially because Tottenham, when they win or lose, it's always something to laugh about. So it really doesn't matter what they do. That said, I think they probably have enough because they're playing a Milan team that's not exactly where they should be at the moment. So, Yeah. If Milan can get Leao on the field, they are going to feast. They're actually going to feast because the reason why City lost against Tottenham was because they were not able to impose their game on Tottenham. Like Tottenham will never ever attempt to play Arsenal that way, no matter how bad Arsenal show up in their stadium. Like coming all out to play attacking football. So
honestly, it looked like Spurs. If you watch that game carefully, it looked like Spurs were surprised at how many chances they got that they didn't even really know what to do with it. Every time they had the ball, Højbjerg and them were like, "Wait, they're options."
So, it was falling to the wrong players. Like Højbjerg when he was played in 1-on-1, and the bro couldn't even.
No, when the guy started running in slow motion. I think Tottenham is a weird team because their style of play doesn't usually give them a lot of chances. So you think they're very clinical because, they take the chances that they get. So when you give them enough chances, like the standard number of chances that most teams will create in a game, they're just going to miss the rest because you don't score all your chances, basically. That said, City really, really, they let Tottenham get into their game. Like, I maybe because I don't really watch a lot of Tottenham games because I like, not watching rubbish, but I just thought it was weird. Like, if City show up that way against any other team in the league, they're getting it because they just seem so out of it. It's like something's wrong.
Roddy wasn't interested. He wasn't. He wasn't interested that game.
Yeah, I don't know, but I think Tottenham will probably beat Milan over 2 legs too. So
okay, yeah. I'm going for my boy Conte to beat Milan, dominate Milan team in Italy as he did when he was in Inter and Juve, and just going to continue making history over there. I'm going to glance over this one quickly: Club Brugge versus Benfica, because I really don't know much about Club Brugge. I don't know if the rest of you do. The simple question is, without Enzo, do you think Benfica can continue their wonderful, stunning UEFA Champions League run?
I don't watch much of Benfica, but I know they usually perform well in Europe.
Mm-hmm.
And in this case, the opponents that they're facing in Bruges, yes, Bruges had surprising performances in the Champions League. I forget who they beat. Was it Spurs?
Atletico. I know they had Atletico on their team, on their group, and Atletico came last, and then Bruges came second because Benfica came first.
Yeah, so I mean that was a surprise right there, but I don't think they will have enough to beat Benfica. So I'm gonna pick Benfica to win that tie. Safe bet.
Place the bets here. Inside this is a hot take. Kashi, quick.
Yeah, no, Benfica to win, maybe 1-0. I don't watch both teams like that, but I expect Benfica to come through. At least these two early, it's an easier opponent, so they should come through.
This is the club. I keep forgetting who predicted Club Brugge's progress, whether it was you or Skip.
I think it might have been Skip.
I think it was Skip, yeah. He was the one that predicted this. So he's not here to defend his club. Edosa, Club Brugge, Benfica.
I think Club Brugge will beat Benfica. Because I don't watch a lot of Benfica, but they seem to be very Enzo heavy.
Mm-hmm.
Like a lot of the times that they win or do anything, Enzo's the one that played the pass or he scored the goal. So without that, they might not be good enough. Plus, Club Brugge are low-key kind of good, if I remember their games in the group stage. So that's my opinion. I think they'll beat Benfica.
That'll be an interesting one to look forward to. But more interesting will be Chelsea versus Dortmund. Dortmund has been flying since, I don't want to say since after the World Cup. Let's say since the past 3-4 games. They've been scoring for fun. And in true Dortmund fun, they've been conceding for fun as well. So they're very open. Chelsea, new look Chelsea with Felix, Modric, and Enzo in there, right? and Oba off. Who do you think is going to win this one? I mean,
that's definitely going to be an interesting tie. Chelsea with all their signings, they're still trying to find their identity. They're still trying to mesh together and build the kind of chemistry that normal teams that don't have 38 players, are able to build pretty quickly. So, I mean, Modric over the last game he played, he got hooked at halftime, so that wasn't encouraging for me. I mean, he was giving me Saul vibes there. Except this time he's 100 million or whatever they paid for him over 8 years. So I mean, Chelsea have just been a strange team. They haven't quite put in like a proper, utter performance since he's been manager, and like there's just so much turmoil. Who's playing, managing the entire squad. Dortmund doesn't have that. They got, they sold Haaland, and then, it's just been happy days since then. So I think I'm going to go with a Dortmund win on this one.
I don't care how bad you are in terms of chemistry. If you have those kind of players, you're scoring against Dortmund. Like, Dortmund, they're not defensively sound at all. You're scoring against Dortmund, right? Like,
they'll score, but will they win the game? That's the question, right? I mean, if you look at their last couple of league games, they've struggled. They've actually struggled to even score a lot of goals, and they definitely struggle to, keep clean sheets. So,
who's this?
I think their last game they won 1-0, right?
Who's this?
Not like the
Spurs? Or, I'm sorry, Chelsea?
Chelsea.
Oh,
Chelsea.
No, the last game was 0-0.
Oh, so they didn't even score. I thought
it was the
won.
game before that was 1-0.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
yeah.
0-0.
So they too, like, I mean, they're still. Felix was suspended, right?
Yes.
So
he should be back by then.
He should be back for the Champions League game. Mm-hmm. So that might give them a different look up top, but it looks like he's back to Sterling being the savior.
That's how you do it. Kachi, Dortmund, Chelsea.
I mean, I always pick Dortmund. Who does Chelsea have up front with Oba being taken out of the team, their Champions League squad? They have that German Statue of Liberty. that guy couldn't score if the goal was empty and he was the only one playing in both. So no, for me, I still pick Dortmund. Yeah, Chelsea might nick a goal, but I expect Dortmund to beat them. And Jude Bellingham, please, I need him to put them to the sword. Like, I need him to really, really punish this shot. I honestly think it would be so poetic if Chelsea goes out of Champions League and does not make top four. It would be just so poetic because, like, all the signings in the world could still not save you.
I saw somewhere where someone called Havertz, Nkunku, and Felix midfielders, not midfielders. Because that's what they do. They're not really... They don't have a position, and I've had this conversation with you guys before about how I don't like those kind of players, that they're not strikers, they're not midfielders, they're not number 10. What's your position? I play behind the striker. But they don't really have that position. That Griezmann, like, it's almost like they're everywhere and nowhere.
You know which league that those formation works? It works well in German league and in Dutch league. That's where those formation works, where you're just somebody just behind the striker. In English league, man, especially Chelsea, where it's like historically they've struggled. In short, Chelsea have struggled to replace the problem is they are trying to replace Drogba. But instead they should change their formation and play. But I have no sympathy. I want Dortmund to win. Easy win, please.
Edosa.
The only way Chelsea win that game is if Todd bids 70 million over 10 years for the first game. And then another 20 million over 10 years. Okay, the more serious note though, like, I don't think Chelsea are in the right space of mind to play games at the moment. They need a preseason badly. So the rest of this season is basically one long season, hoping that next year they can actually find a team that they like to go for whatever it is they're trying to go for. So Dortmund will take them apart quite easily.
Okay, I hope so. I want to laugh a little. Now, another one where the teams are not really what they used to be, Real Madrid, Liverpool. We all know what's going on with Liverpool. Oh, we really don't know what's going on with Liverpool, to be honest. Everyone just... Fabinho just woke up and became Donny van de Beek. Like, I don't understand what's happening with him. And Real Madrid has a lot of injuries. Benzema is out, Militao is out, Alaba is out. So is this like the clash of the injury-ridden teams? Who do you think is going to win this? I mean,
it's not just class of injury-ridden teams. It's also a class of out-of-form teams because both of them lost their last couple of games, I believe.
Yeah.
In Liverpool's case, I just feel like their midfield is in desperate need of a refresh, man. Like the style of play that they've been playing for the last couple of years, they just can't, with minimal rotation, they just can't keep it up.
Rock and roll football. It's rock and roll.
Sooner or later, Klopp is just going to have to move that boy Trent into midfield and just, call it a signing, and then find a real right back to play there, But in terms of this class, Real Madrid, they are still, the kings of Europe. They could be struggling in their domestic league, but when it comes to this Champions League, they always show up. So, based on that, is this game at the Bernabeu or is it at Anfield?
The first one is at Anfield.
Oh, okay. So maybe I'll sit on the fence for this first game and say it would be like a nice 2-2 draw because both of these teams can't defend right now. So I picked both of them to at least score some goals, and it'll be an exciting game, a nice open exciting game. But yeah, I'll say it will be a draw.
You heard it here first. Those European nights in Anfield are over. Real Madrid are going to stuff Liverpool. They're going to stuff Liverpool. After what we're seeing Wolves and Brighton and them do to Liverpool, nah, bro. They're going to get it. They're going to get it, man. If Liverpool win this game, I'll be very, very surprised. Like, I'll be very, very surprised.
Well, the last game against Wolves was actually very
Comedy
shocking.
Central. It was funny.
I couldn't believe
I've never seen goals like this in my life.
I think the first goal was inside like the first 5 minutes or something crazy like that.
Then the second goal was after another 5 minutes. It was two goals in 11 minutes.
All the goals were in the first half.
No, the third one was in the second half.
Where
Adama Traore showed them that blacks can run. My goodness. The guy ran through the whole defense and just tapped it for Neves to score. I never started reminding everybody that it's him that started this celebration, not Rashford. But,
there are different celebrations. It's not the same thing. Like if it's just the pointing to the head thing, then many players before Neves did that celebration. But Rashford, it's about how he does it, not necessarily, just the pointing.
OBE. That's what happens.
But it'll be an exciting game. I'm definitely looking forward to that one for sure.
Kachi, who are you taking for this match?
So for this game, I mean, the reason I'm laughing is because if Klopp remains stubborn and keeps playing Trent right back, I mean, if Mitoma did what he did to Trent, and if he just remains stubborn and plays the same team, believe me, even the Madrid on one leg will roll into town and punish them. It's
Vinicius, right? Vinicius versus Trent?
Vinicius, exactly. Vinicius, he'll punish them. Valverde as well. Like those guys, those bros will roll into town and they will seriously punish them. Like it won't even be close. And I think for me, Liverpool, this is their last stand really in any competition because they're not getting into, at least it's not looking like they will get into the top four right now. They're out of all the cups, so this is like their last stand. And I think if Madrid beats them 2 or 3, you should just write off the tie because they're not going to go to Madrid and score 4 goals. I just don't see it happening. And I think
that's what we said when they lost 4-0 to Barca. And then they came.
No, but the return leg
was
at
Anfield.
Yeah. Those days are over.
But then they had Sadio Mane and they had a midfield. Now these guys don't have anything. They are donut FC in the middle. These bros, once you attack them, you are running through their midfield.
But it's crazy how this team was going for a quadruple last season.
No, but if you remember last year,
now they're too bad.
If you remember the podcast last year, I said this team has reached its peak. That this is the last. They need to refresh. These bros were thinking, oh, quadruple. Okay, you've done quadruple now, and you don't now want to invest money.
They only won one. They only won
two. They want two.
They won 2 cups, but the least insignificant
one. The FA Cup and Carabao through penalties.
Didn't City win Carabao?
No. They beat Chelsea in both.
They beat Chelsea in both competitions via penalties.
Oh.
And they lost. Basically, they lost Champions League final, the valuable one, and then they lost
Premier League. But like Aminu said, I'm very surprised Aminu hasn't pointed this out, because he said this around January that Salah is slowing down. I was like, shut up, you don't know what you're saying.
I don't like beating a dead horse and keeping people when they're down. I told Dami knows this. I told him that they should have sold
slowing down. Like, no, he's fine. And bro, it's been a year now, and it's not looking good.
Should have cashed out with Salah.
And not to mention, they signed a couple of frauds, Gakpo and Nunes. But to be fair, I think Nunes has promise, but Gakpo, certified fraud.
The thing is with Nunes, he's gonna get, like, he's even gotten some goals this season. Like Nunes, you can see the promise, right? But for Gakpo, I wish him nothing but I wish he's a flop, because he used Man U to increase his transfer fee. He finessed us. He used us to do, I'm interested in Man U, I'm interested in Man U. Man U is willing to pay this much. And then my guy finessed us and went to Liverpool. You don't do that.
Yeah, you're punished for that.
Like, if it's that you finessed us and you went to Arsenal or you went to Chelsea, you can be forgiven. But you can't do that and cross to, like, our most hated rivals. You can't.
Talking about Van Dijk told me.
I wish him the Andy Carroll kind of flop at Liverpool. That kind of Andy Carroll flop, where it's like, yeah, that's the kind of flop I wish Gakpo. All the best.
Edosa, please, could you talk about this game, please, before
I think all of those asthmatic tests and diagnosis has finally gotten up with Liverpool. So they're definitely not going to have the lungs for what Real Madrid has in store for them. So, I mean, I'm not necessarily surprised at where Liverpool are, because they signed Thiago, and that kind of messed up what they were doing with their midfield. So ever since then, they've been sliding, and they've not, like, Klopp is weird. Like, for someone who is supposed to be, like, really good at, like, identifying players and motivating them to play a certain way, his signings are fairly subpar when they don't. Like, it's either they're, like, really, really good or they're just rubbish. So he doesn't have a middle. So because of that, yeah.
I think it's Sorry, Keita, not Keita.
So without being able to refresh his term, now they're just there hoping that the Qatar guys actually end up buying them, because they're done. I don't see Liverpool miss out on Champions League and Europe next season. Like, they've entered that Arsenal Man United space of 5 years ago. Like, they're just done. Because unlike Chelsea actually has money to buy players. Like, Liverpool are done. They can't even sell. Who are they going to sell to refresh? Like, no one. Maybe PSG might buy Salah for like 18 million, but like, you can't even afford Mitoma for that amount now. So, like, everything is broken. So how do they fix it? I don't know what the answer is for Liverpool, but that's a different conversation. But for this game, there is no way I see Liverpool getting through the tie, which is probably how they end up getting through the tie. But I can't see it.
You're the This is what good until you talked. Let's run through the remaining three games really quickly, so we can talk about bigger games, in my opinion. I believe Napoli is going to beat Frankfurt. Frankfurt, they're how do you say this? The Europa Champions. So they could sneak us, Europa League champions. So they could sneak a surprise. But the way Napoli is playing, man, my God, the way Napoli is playing.
But they're good. They have Colomano, and that guy is killing it.
Who's this?
The French guy.
The only person I know in Frankfurt is that Japanese. Is it Kamara? Kamara? That's the Japanese player. That's the only guy I know. Kamada. Thank you. That's the only guy I know on that team.
Also a good player.
Literally, that's the only guy I know on that team. Does anybody think
it Unai that won the Europa
with them? No.
Okay. Europa Champions.
I mean, does anybody think Frankfurt is going to win that game?
No. Osimhen is in such hot form right now.
Did you see the goal he scored last week? The first one.
Yeah.
With his head? That's the kind of goal that if that happens in FIFA, you're breaking your pad. Like what? This guy jumped higher with his head, jumped higher than the keeper could reach the ball with his hands. It didn't make any sense. Like someone booted the ball up, it was about to land, the keeper jumped to catch it, and he jumped with his head, and he headed it like right in front of the keeper.
No, but Osimhen is...
What is that? What is that?
Physical...
Like two of them jumped like this.
Yes.
But he reached it with his head, the keeper couldn't reach it with his hands.
No, but
Osimhen make any sense.
6'4", 6'5".
Osimhen has a better lift than the guy is. I think 6'6".
Hands, man.
No, but if he's taller than the keeper, if he's taller than the keeper to start, if he can jump at all.
You guys need to go watch that goal. It didn't make any sense. Like I said, it's kind of goal that if it happens in FIFA, you're breaking your part. Like, what is this?
No, Osimhen is physically ridiculous. Because, Saliba is 6'5" and can't jump. But Osimhen can actually jump despite his height. He's ridiculous. Players should not be that way. He's like Haaland, just without the reputation, more or less.
True.
So,
next one is City Leipzig.
No, but before we run, Osimhen is to me, as far as strikers goes, he's the most informed striker in Europe right now.
Yeah, easily.
You pay that
been
money.
doing it for years.
You pay that money and give them Martial.
No. Yes,
You don't want
just
What
a
do
second.
you mean?
I think that's a separate discussion. We can't go into that.
What do you mean, no?
My opinion on that quickly is I think the age of breaking the bank for that one striker thing is gone. You have to get a player that is more dynamic, that can do everything instead of just waiting for the ball.
Osimhen doesn't just wait for the
Jesus.
ball.
You need to get a striker like Jesus. Those days of Haaland is the exception that proves the rule. And if you can see, he's not really scoring like that much anymore. But those days of breaking the bank for that one striker, it doesn't really work. Quick.
As someone that has Jesus in his team, against Everton, I was begging for a tall forward. I just needed one tall forward in the back post. Anybody.
Near the Fellaini.
That specific game, right? That forward all season. That's the point.
No, and spending that amount of money on that guy, it doesn't make any sense.
Osimhen has
it's not going to work. Rashford is not crossing. My guy is doing
Rashford doesn't cross.
On the right.
I don't know what Anthony is doing.
He doesn't. So forget it. We will waste Osimhen.
We will waste him.
I'm very sure of that.
We'll waste him.
I need you guys to sign him real quick.
Rashford does not cross. You remember then Greenwood was on the other side, head down, he's shooting. Our wingers don't cross.
Because you don't have wingers, you have strikers playing in that position.
Exactly. Quickly, Man City, Leipzig. Obviously, Man City.
They might have this financial fair play ban thing looming over their head, and it might cloud their judgment and their decision making, and maybe Leipzig will sneak that one.
Has Nkunku been playing? Since Chelsea signed him, I haven't heard much of him. Is he playing, or is he just
injured though? He was injured.
Yeah,
injured. I think that's what stopped him.
Because he didn't go to the World Cup.
World Cup, yeah. Anyway, I don't see them beating. Then again, like you said, this financial thing. Who knows, man?
If tells Haaland, yo, we might not be able to pay you anymore. Like Haaland is not going to be like, yo.
No, because they basically might have to win Champions League to get Champions League next year. So,
we'll see.
The funny thing is that you could give them 15 points deduction, and they could still end up winning enough games to come top for regardless. So,
true.
Who knows? Even.
Actually, instead of switching and coming back, while we're on City, man, Arsenal, one of their first leg, their game in hand, is on Wednesday. Next Wednesday. Let's just say Wednesday for whoever is, depending on when you're listening to this. Who do you think is going to take that one? First versus second, Premier League.
I think it's at home, right?
Who's home?
I think it's like Arsenal is at home. One sec.
Does it matter?
Yeah.
It does.
It does. Arsenal is at home. They're not losing that game, but I don't know if they win it.
So
Arsenal don't really lose at home.
Draws?
I'm fine with a draw. 2 draws is completely acceptable to me.
Arsenal at home is a different beast.
Mm-hmm.
Arsenal away from home, you might be able to. City might be able to nick something, but Arsenal at home is a different beast, man.
And they pull up with that nonsense. They try against Tottenham. Whew. Even that we could lose against Saka. God. We could lose against Saka, Walker against Martinelli. We feast.
No. Walker will hold Martinelli. Walker will hold Martinelli. Relax. Walker will hold Martinelli.
This is not Martinelli of last year.
Inevitably comes off the bench.
That's a good question.
When you hold Trossard when he inevitably comes off the bench for Martinelli.
No, but like Martinelli is going to ruin him. Like, cause in the game they played that they won, they both came off the bench, so they were both fresh. And the thing Martinelli was doing to walk out was like, wow, okay, I didn't know you got in here. Martinelli will ruin, like, those two boys, if they're in the mood, they'll ruin anybody. And especially because City don't have any midfielders to double up on them. Like, it's just, because that's what anybody that has stopped Arsenal from winning this year has basically just said, we'll put 2 players on your wingers and then block the middle. Let's see what you can do. Right? So, City don't have that because they have pride. They want to play too. And this Arsenal team wants you to do that. They want you to play. So, if City plays with us, if Partey is fit, is also another
caveats. Yeah.
But like if Partey is fit,
it's just one game. You can do without Partey.
No, we can't. Against
He's not quality unless he does it against City.
Exactly. If it's not slapping City around them, can we really say it's the best? So
if City couldn't beat, Spurs, then I definitely don't see them beating Arsenal at the Emirates.
I don't think it's the same type of game. But
don't you think they're angry and they want to prove a point?
I don't care if they're angry.
No,
if they're angry and they want, continue.
No, go ahead.
No, like if they're angry and their answer to that is, we're just going to show up and play attack with Rico Lewis and what's his name, Walker. Like it's gotten to the point where you look at them and like everybody in that team is a target. Because I don't think the Bayern is fit. Bernardo Silva is definitely not there mentally. Rodri running around with Odegaard. That goal was painful. Like, Rico Lewis invented to do what exactly against who? Like, I mean, they'll try that Ake against Saka thing again, and Ake realized that first game, Saka wasn't interested. Like, so it's going to be the best game of the season until the City Arsenal game in April. Because if we win there, I might start believing it's so Arsenal is going to win. Because like it's going to be a game. I might find a way to be sick that day so I don't do any work.
Final thoughts on this, quick.
Yeah, like I said, if they couldn't beat Spurs, like I don't see how they would beat Arsenal, especially at the Emirates. And the last couple of seasons under Arteta, Arsenal has actually played City really well whenever they face them. It's just that some unfortunate decisions have always gone against them. Like there was the red card against, I forget who it was. Was it Xhaka or?
Xhaka,
yeah. and that totally changed the game. If not before that,
there was a penalty that wasn't given. I remember that.
Exactly,
there was a penalty
right?
that wasn't given in that game too.
They were creating chances and they were controlling the game, and then the red card happened and then City took over, right? So as long as and Arsenal have been keeping their heads on this season more than other seasons. Xhaka hasn't been sent off yet, I don't think, right?
No, he hasn't.
Yeah, so
Arteta comes to physically drag him away from trouble. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so I definitely see Arsenal winning that game. I mean, if Haaland didn't get any joy out of Romero, like he's definitely not getting anything out of. He's not getting anything out of Saliba.
Quickly, Kachi, did you have something to say on this? We got to move on to Man U Barca.
I think for this game, it's like the problem is Man City has become so predictable. But I know Pep in that game he wants to now overtinker. But the Tinker Man, I think exactly the man will tinker and he'll get himself into trouble. That's what I think. Like he won't keep it simple. And I think the ace in the hole that Arsenal has is Trossard, right? I think that's another thing Arteta can employ that City will not know what's coming. Because City now, we all know everything is coming from De Bruyne, Haaland. Like there is no unpredictability now with their team. Everything goes through. Yeah, Mahrez is probably the only other option, but everybody knows it's either Mahrez or it's going to De Bruyne, right? So but the thing is with Arsenal now, that's having that Trossard, or even he could even do something funny and play Jorginho and Partey and Xhaka. Like I feel like Arteta has more ace in his more unpredictable ace that Pep cannot predict, as opposed to like what a Man City has. Man City now is like you can predict their team, you can predict how they're going to play.
Yeah.
So.
And for the record, I think Foden was sick. That's why he didn't make this thing. There also talks about. It's very funny how these guys make excuses for losses, and I heard that Pep was saying that it's because apparently it was Green Weekend in the UK, so they weren't allowed to fly, so they had to take public transport to training, which was 4 hours. 4 hours away.
To London.
No, the training ground, because they were in London to train, right? So the training ground from their hotel to the training ground was a 4-hour commute because they couldn't fly. Anyway, they said the players were tired by the time. We gotta move on. Man U Barca. Big game. I don't even know anymore. Barca are flying. They are not depending on Lewandowski anymore. The other guys are scoring. First in La Liga by 5 points, I believe. But Man U are flying too. Like, the confidence I have when we play, especially at home. Last weekend, I realized that I didn't know who we were playing against. Like, that's how confident I was. Like, we're going to win this game. I don't even know who we're playing. I know we're playing home, but we're going to win this game. I didn't know who we're playing against until they mentioned Patrick Vieira working out with Ten Hag. I'm like, we're playing Crystal Palace again. It doesn't matter. We're going to win this game. And Casemiro is going to be around for that game. So it should be interesting. I mean, what are your thoughts on this? Quickly.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely going to be an interesting game. Barca are definitely in form right now, so it's not going to be an easy game. But, I have to back my team, and I definitely want them to show Frankie de Jong what he's missing and why he made the wrong decision. Because it's at Old Trafford as well, I'll go with the Man U in for that game. And in terms of the tie overall, I think Man U wins at Old Trafford and goes to Camp Nou and gets a draw there and wins the tie.
Okay. Got you.
Yeah, I think with this tie, I'm happy because Casemiro would have well rested. 12 days of rest he's going to get. So in that midfield, he's going to be ready to go. Like, I want Casemiro to please, as a favor to Man U fans, we need at least give one two-footed talent to De Jong. Just something, just a warning in the beginning, right? When you are still, not to collect yellow card, just something to let him know that, see.
It's a little kick,
Just a little kick that we haven't forgotten you, right? But I expect us to win this tie. I think Ousmane Dembele is also going to be out for this tie, so he's going to be missing. So I think for Man it's a huge plus because a lot of, like Barca, that's a huge source of their
attacking outlets.
attacking outlet. So I think for us, like now, I haven't felt this confident about Man in such a very long time.
Oh my goodness!
When we're playing at home, I just feel like
it's been so long.
I just think we should just keep playing, and Bruno needs to keep it simple that day. No need to complicate the thing. Keep it simple. Any shaking nonsense, please take him out.
Bruno.
I honestly feel like that's the game to give Sancho his start. I honestly feel like Sancho by then would have built up his confidence.
As a cam?
I wouldn't mind giving Sancho his start.
As a cam? Like as an attacking midfielder?
Why not?
As a risk.
Attacking midfielder or even on the wing. Switch it up.
Anthony should stop playing. That's my... But without time for that. Edosa, please, take us home.
I think that Man U will lose the game.
Oh, hater in the building.
It's not about hating. It's that
I think we lost Edosa. You can't hear him anymore. And that's the end.
No. Like, I agree that Man United are playing better than, the beginning of the season. But I also think that Man United are not where you think they are. Like, you feel like the way you think about your team is that they were so low that you felt not necessarily that's what happened, like they will lose against anybody. So now that they are beating who they're supposed to beat, you think that they've gone the other way, like they're so good that the team that you're not supposed to beat, they're beating them. In reality, you're just doing the bare minimum. So Barca in a different stage of their thing. The truth is that Man U will get there. Between the amount of money they have and the manager, they're going to get good. There's no way around it. You have to find something else to hit, basically. But like today, at the moment, I don't think that United have enough. Like, okay, fine, there is no Dembele. They're just going to put on Rafinha. Like, it's not like it's a different threat, but it's still a high quality player.
We're beating our chest with one Pasaka. Don't worry, whoever they put on that right.
Different wings.
Luke Shaw, Beto Carlos, son. Nah, bro, we're good. Whoever they put on the wing.
Also, expect Casemiro to get sent off in one of the games. I'm just letting you know.
The El Clasico blood will make him do something crazy. Crazy. Last word.
They might overturn his red card though.
They should. Last word on this. Aminu and Kachi, you guys are still sticking with your picks for your Champions League picks, PSG and Bayern respectfully. Edosa, I don't remember what yours was.
I think I said City.
Whatever happens, I think I said City too as well. Whatever happens, I still feel like Arsenal still has the best chance to win this Europa League. I think Arsenal's going to win this Europa League, and I can't go back on Man City winning the Champions League. My defense is what all the stuff they're doing. They're resting. They don't care. They're focusing on the Champions League. All the stuff that's happening in the Premier League is like an illusion. They're focusing on the Champions League.
That's what they always say every season.
Every season for the last, how many? 5 years now?
I think they bought Haaland for Champions League, yes,
yeah, they did.
But they did not expect it to affect the way they play
team
this much.
Like this. It's ridiculous. All right, cool. Thank you guys for attending. Thank you guys for listening. Please remember to follow us to support the page, the channel, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter. I always forget Twitter. And as always, continue to love football. Thank you and good night.